In terms of that, what I want to start off with, we actually use the term shared service. I actually want to look at the term service, because the services is the key bit for local authorities. And I've actually put here evolution and change, because I think what we are at the moment is actually on an evolutionary path. I'm not quite certain where it's going to end, but as one of the previous speakers said earlier, the financial regime around us is going to change dramatically, big time. And don't anyone be under any illusion it's going to be a case of, we're going to whip round at the end of the financial year and might make a bit of cut here and a snip off here. This is actually looking at some fundamental change in the way that people actually review and organise themselves. And the reason one of the reasons I actually is from local government's point of view. There are a number of things we need to be aware of in actually judging whether shared service is a success or failure or not. First of all, with local government, there is a thing called democratic local accountability. So quite clearly, unlike with in central government, where ministers do have the say on things, it tends to be more a case of, you recommend to ministers about X, Y, and Z. In local government, you recommend to members, and they don't always agree with what you're saying. They have a particular party view on it, and of course, with a lot of authorities are in overall control. So on that basis, it becomes very difficult to actually force through things in terms of an absence of leadership, because having been a former member myself many years ago and sat in an overall control authority, it's like drawing teeth at times, and everything is a compromise. So anything radical is extremely difficult to push through. Secondly, in terms of service provision, as you all know, there is no one-size-fits-all in local government or any other service. There are different demographic needs, different needs of local communities. And the things about it, most local authorities tend to define their needs around the needs of the local communities, the needs of which is the members, but also in terms of what is actually needed. So it's very difficult to often benchmark and compare between local authorities, because you're not always actually reflecting the same priorities. And the other thing about it is, I think we should also think, and someone who I know who was working in the Cabinet Office years ago said, rather jokingly, don't forget, as far as the local government thing is concerned, that's all the things that central government didn't want. And therefore handed over. And as Lord Rayner, who did one of the the official reviews for Sir Derek Rayner back in 1979 when Mrs Thatcher took over, said to her, and I don't think he was very impressed with it because he disappeared off the screen after that. He said, in many respects, if these things are meant to be in the private sector and we can make money, they would have been in the private sector years ago. So that's why they're in the public sector, because they can't do. So there are some interesting things which mean there are some some counters pushing against this. But again,